we're at a culture now where people are not even shocked by this, and that to me is shocking.
It is shocking. First of all, you should know is 1/3 of all content on the internet is pornography. So that says something right there. In a recent study out of McGill University in Montreal, the researchers wanted to study the effects of porn on all our young men. And guess what, Jane? They couldn't find one man who had not consumed porn. So they didn't have a control group. They couldn't really study it well. Instead, they came up with how much porn men are consuming. Average single man, like 3 times a week for an hour. And they're consuming it on their cell phones. You wonder why they're trying to turn every email and every text into a sext these days. The problem for young women, Jane, is that it is forcing them to do things that they wouldn't ever have done and earlier because they're feeling like they have to compete against porn. In fact, one study out of the University of Texas asked young men, if you had to choose between giving up porn for life or giving up real relations with a warm body, what would you choose? And plenty of young men said they couldn't decide. Think about that.
Well, then I want to go back to our legal panel and say, with this being an overwhelmingly male jury, could this whole, I was the victim, backfire? Because maybe a lot of these jurors, these male jurors, are looking at porn on a regular basis. And who wants to take that hot potato?
I'll talk about it. I don't think that any man on that jury is going to concede, whether they watch videos of girls tied on trees, up to trees, they're going to concede that ever would the words leave their mouths that they wanted a young lady tied to a tree to have anal sex with her. I don't think any man will fess up to that, and I think anybody's going to think that's peculiar, particularly in a chosen death penalty case, because now death is off the table, whether anybody wants to consider it or not.
Well, wait
this jury is so grossed out. This jury is so grossed out, zero chance they'll ever be the death penalty.
Joey, quick response.
Look, the reality is this. We could talk about porn all we want. Is that what caused his murder? This is all a sideshow. It's about the victim on trial. And my view is that the jury is going to be offended that she would besmirch his character and his name to save her own. It's a sideshow. It's not relevant to the murder.
Ariva.
I agree with Joey wholeheartedly. Jodi is blaming everyone but herself. Everyone, her parents, Travis, her ex-lovers, everybody's responsible for her stabbing Travis 27 times except her. And when the prosecution gets to the cross-examination, she's going to have to come face-to-face with the reality she premeditated his murder. She went to that apartment with the intention to kill him because she's a jealous ex-lover, and she killed him. And all this stuff about their kinky sex life is not going to matter. Jurors are more sophisticated than this. That's the bottom line. They're more sophisticated.